Hey guys, I'm back. I'm here just to sit and chat with you guys. I actually wanted to try something a bit different. So I used to have a book blog before I left home, just as a way for me to like have a project to work on that like was my own thing, and that I could just like sit in my room in a quiet place and do by myself. And so I was thinking, and I felt like the next step up from that was to just kind of do it, but like do it on my YouTube channel, because it's not something I don't read as much as I used to, mostly because I have more things to get done, but I do read and I watch movies, and I feel like there's a lot of good content out there that deserves to be talked about. Today I really wanted to talk about a new movie that I just watched earlier this week, and it's a Netflix original called To the Bone. This movie was, it was beautiful. The movie itself was about a female going through treatment for her anorexia, and Ellen was the name of the main character. I have my notes down here, just because I don't want to get too far off track. I want to keep this kind of short and succulent. Succulent? I think those are the same meaning to words, but anyways, so Ellen is the name of the main character, and she has been through a lot. She's gone through a lot of she's done a lot of inpatient therapy, and this is kind of, you meet her at kind of her end point, her last resort, going to see this doctor and living in a home with 5 other females and 1 male, all going through treatment for some kind of eating disorder. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the movie was not only was it just really entertaining and something that just like pulled you in, but it also made you think. And I love movies that make me take a step back and reevaluate how I look at something. And so this movie made you kind of take the step back and realize that something like anorexia, or I will take a guess as most eating disorders, but given they talk mostly about anorexia, it's not a problem that can be solved with just eat. It's not somebody who looks at food and is just refusing to take a bite of it because she wants to be thin. He or she wants to be thin. It's more of an anxiety problem. It's not necessarily something that they think to themselves, oh, like, I don't want that, I won't eat it. And one of the characters in the movie was basically the portrayal of like how most of us feel and expect it to be solved, and she was just like, I don't know why you can't just eat. I just don't understand why you're refusing to eat and why you're forcing us to go through all of this struggle to try and find you treatment. Just freaking eat the food, you know? And that's, I think, a lot of people's approach to the subject, because they hear eating disorder and they think it has to do with like refusal to eat, but it's more of an anxiety disorder, kind of like OCD isn't the needing everything to be tidy. It's an anxiety from something not being done the way that they think it's supposed to be done. So I thought that was really cool, and I think that kind of put a lot of things into perspective. And even though I personally haven't gone through or know anybody who's gone through something like anorexia, I do think it's important to not have the stereotype as the only thing you know about it, you know? The movie was made by people who have gone through the issues that they were portraying. It didn't get into too much of a explanation at the very beginning. There's just a little paragraph that was basically like, the people who made this have gone through the issues that they're portraying in this movie, and I thought that was a really cool touch, because you knew that you weren't watching like Hollywood's glamorization of somebody trying to get skinny or whatever. It was their struggles and their pain in movie form to kind of educate people, and I thought that added like a really like honest, gritty touch to it that that portrayed itself really well. They did a really good job, because it wasn't too like in your throat, like down in your face, down your throat, like this is the most horrible thing ever, but they were very, very honest. As I said, a lot of the things portrayed in the movie aren't something that I firsthand dealt with or know somebody who's dealt with. I don't think that sentence was a complete sentence, but I don't know how to finish that sentence. But given my lack of experience and or knowledge in the subject, I was still very moved and very touched by the movie. It made me do a lot of introspective thinking. I actually called my mom after I finished watching it, and I was like, hey, let's talk about this. And so I think if somebody watched it who does have firsthand or secondhand experience with these kinds of things, I think I couldn't imagine like the amount of impact it would probably have on them. So like maybe you take that as a trigger warning, but maybe you take that also as like a, hey, like I know somebody who's struggling with this, let me like watch this to like learn more, you know. On another lighter note, actually, this movie has I said actually twice, okay. On another lighter note, this movie has introduced me to one of my new favorite songs called Water by Jack Garrett. I actually have a playlist in the little link box below with that song and a couple of my new favorites. And if you watch the movie, then you will know why that song is my new favorite song, because the scene that it's coupled with was just phenomenally done. It was a little bit cheesy, but life's a little bit cheesy sometimes. That whole scene, I kind of teared up the first time I watched it. I think I watched the movie like 3 times since I watched it for the first time. I'm like, well, it's on Thursday. It's Sunday now. Yeah. So, but I do that. I obsess over things. So that song was just really well done, coupling them together and making sure that like you felt what they wanted you to feel. The movie overall for me had a lot of really good selling points. It had really well made characters. You didn't spend a whole lot of time with all of them, but the time you did spend with them, you got to know them very well. And even though the main character went through a lot of character development, a lot of the other ones didn't, but I think it was an honest portrayal, because like one person can be going through like the most changing time in their life, and then they get to the other side, a completely different person, and they look around and the people around them are just like the exact same people they were 3 months ago. And so I don't think you can necessarily expect, that's one thing. When I go into a movie and people walk out and it's like, oh, like there was no character development. Like there was character development where there needed to be development, you know? Where there could honestly be development, because it wouldn't be a true portrayal of life if everybody grew at the same exact pace, you know? The movie in its tone was very reminiscent to Perks of Being a Wallflower, in my opinion. It had that just like gritty, honest feeling to it, and it didn't feel like it needed to like fill every single moment with action and talking and everything. It was just like, you know, sometimes in life you have those quiet moments, and they had no problem showing that. And also the way that like the movie built up, it wasn't, in a lot of blockbusters, you know, you have the 1 hour of like intense build up, and then the 15 minutes of oh my gosh climax, and then just 15 minutes of like, oh, like let's resolve everything real fast. The movie, even though there was like a build up and a climax, there was a lot of them, and there was definitely a pivot point moment, but for one, you didn't spend the whole movie expecting it to happen. I mean, there was a lot of time in there when I thought to myself, like, was that it? Like, is this really what it's gonna end with, you know? And not in a bad way, but it was just like in a heartbreaking way, which if you watch the movie, you'll figure out what I'm talking about. So if you've seen the movie, or if you watch this and go watch the movie and come back, just tell me what you guys thought of it. I think it's on like the trending on Netflix right now, and so I'm sure you have like seen it there, whether or not you've watched it or not is a whole movie thing. Comment down below or tweet me, just tell me what you think of it. I really, really loved it, and I hope you did too, but if you didn't, maybe, you know, tell me why, we can talk about it. I have absolutely no problem disagreeing with people, and in fact, I think that disagreements, when done civilly, are actually a very, very important part of growing, especially educating yourself. So, if you saw the movie, or when you see the movie and you're looking for something else to watch, if what interests you about the movie was the in-depth, educational, honest look at the mental illnesses that are portrayed, something like Don't Call Me Crazy on Netflix would be something really cool to watch. I watched it, and it was really cool. It was like a little mini like docu-series based in the UK at in a adolescent psychiatric ward. So that was really cool. But if what you liked about the movie was the tone or the style of it, then something like The Art of Getting By, or as I said earlier, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I'm sure everyone's already seen, but if you haven't, it's a good movie. And they both do a really good job, just like To the Bone does, about showing the day-to-day grit and honesty of being an adolescent in today's society and the completely fucked up things that come with it. Those are my 2-3 recommendations after you watch the movie. If you have any recommendations for me to watch, either just so I can talk about them, or movies that you think I would like based on my opinions of To the Bone, then please tell me about them. And I will see you guys later, either for a vlog or another one of these, or if you have any kind of video ideas that you want me to do, then like comment down below, tell me, tweet me, please interact with me. I was thinking about doing like a Get Ready With Me video because I really like doing makeup. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So I hope you guys have a lovely day and that you enjoyed my video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.